knowledge of tools, processes, and goals, because this quality system requires a lot of small tools, which we have seen in the previous discussions, that 7QC and QAQC as well, and we will be doing more in the future. Processes and goals. And we always set a goal and work using a tool and a streamlined or maybe an effective process to achieve the goal. So that is how we do it. Then supplier and subcontractor quality, because an organization cannot work alone. You need a lot of materials. Subcontracting, you are not specialized in everything. So most of the companies which are not specialized in all the areas, which will subcontract specialized group. So this is how the entire TQM works. So what is the continuous improvement principles? The continuous improvement principles are customer focus, value, respect, results and measures, accountability and transparency, and continuous improvement. I like to see that what is value, what kind of value you are actually expecting from organization, what kind of value you will establish. If you look into the descriptions of value, because every organization, you need to have certain established value on that, because value is the most important that an organization always work for. And whatever revenue we generate, it is a byproduct of the value. That is how it is actually considered, because you have to have an integrity and ethics, because you have to say what you do and do what you say. That is one kind of integrity of the people, those who work with an organization, their commitment, because that is one of this thing. And respect dedicated employees, that is another value for the company. And healthy work environment, that is also a value. Because recently I would like to just mention, I was listening to an interview with the Kalyan Raman, the owner of Kalyan Silks, because a couple of weeks before it was coming in Asianet. He was very much focusing on certain things, because the value what he has, honesty and transparency and trustworthiness. These are the three things he was always talking about. That is how he feels that the company has grown from a small one outlet to 150 outlets across India and across the globe, and it's become a huge organization like that. So always that value, if you focus on value, it repeats. You will get your reward. So this is just one, and then the other things are, we all know, accountability means people should be accountable for what they are doing. And this process and this systems always actually give some sort of a documentation that how accountable each process is and the person who is carrying out. All this together, it is a continuous improvement. And then measuring improvement. How? Because we know that everything which is not measured, we cannot improve it. So it is like measurement is the first step that leads to control and eventually to improvement. Because tomorrow I put a target for a week, and each day I am completing certain percentage of it. Because is it going according to the plan, or are you going to finish it within the given period of time or the target? So if it is, you need to measure it, your output. So otherwise it is difficult. You cannot just simply feel that it is going to be finished. That trust may not work. That always happens. And people definitely mention about this, how they feel about measuring a system or a process or a work. If you can't measure something, you can't understand it. If you can't understand it, you can't control it. If you can't control it, you cannot improve it. Because unless and until if you don't measure it and you won't understand, if you understand it, you have every details available to you to make the improvement process. That's a known fact, and people like the James Harrington at IBM, he said, but many other people also quoted this paradigm. So back to the basics, 5 principles of lean. See, the 5 principles of lean is identify your, first one is identify your customers and what they value. So you have to understand who is your customer and not what they consider it is valuable, because a customer is the one who makes your product or give a value to your product or your organization. So you have to understand that. Second, map the value stream. Identify the value stream for each product or service. Maybe the value stream mapping process, we haven't learned that. There is another tool, or it is a process, it is a philosophy, value stream mapping. Maybe next coming sessions we talk about it. Because you do a process, you map a process, how effective it is, how much waste is there, what is the process time, what is the idle time, so that you can optimize your time frame from the beginning of an assignment till the end of the assignment. You can see that how much time you wasted. It's like if you are traveling from somewhere to, say, Ernakulam to Chengalore. So how many hours you are wasting on waiting for something, or how many hours you are waiting for clearing your toll plaza, or maybe on the way you are putting petrol, so how much time you are wasting. But if you streamline it, how much time you wasted, that is called a waste. Something which is not giving a value, adding to the process. So in a factory means you produce certain deliverables and it is lying there in your warehouse. Your transportation logistic is not ready to take and deliver it. So that's a waste. So things like that, there are 8 wastes we will discuss. That is lean, and then value stream mapping. There is another process we will discuss later, or maybe we'll have the next session. Then create flow to the customer. See, the value creating steps you have to do it. Product or services will follow smoothly towards the customer. So the documents or maybe your products or deliveries should go very smoothly without any hindrance, because the customer is waiting for your deliverable, and you need to make sure that it is reached without any hindrance, smoothly, a flow to the customer. Then establish pull based on customer demand. What is pull based? It is actually the preceding department, you know, like you have so many processes in a factory. So you finished one, and then only you will give, it will go to the next process area. So what happens, the pull means the next process area is demanding, please give me, maybe we are waiting for you to start our process because you have it finished. So there is a pressure coming from the next process. So you will not waste your time. So the upstream activity, you know, because to be pushed from the downstream activity, that is the pull. That is one of the elements we will see in some other process. See, continuous improvement. Then the perfection actually begins because of all these things, the lean concept. The perfection is always actually helps to start your continuous improvement. That is what we are talking about now. So what is the difference between continuous and continual improvement? So the continuous improvement approach does not stop. It is an uninterrupted flow. because if you plot a graph that I will show you later, it is continuous, it's a linear graph. There is no interruptions there, because most of the organizations, companies, manufacturing organization, you always do some kind of improvement of your process, of your work, and wherever you are. That is continuously done without any stoppage. And then simply it's a chain link to continual improvement, because it is one predecessor is actually connected with the other one, so it is always a link. It is like a chain link. So you continuously do it. So there is no breakage. These are all very small and short improvements within a system. These are not huge actually improvement, entire thing, but it's are all, we are talking about this continual, everything is small improvements, not very huge one. Because these small improvements together, it will become, because the start of this year beginning, you started with this, and by the end of the year, you have actually reached maybe double the production. So because of the small improvements, what you have made in your process, that helps to improve your organization, your process. And then continual improvement means that the approach is repeated and has pause in between repetitions. Because you will do an improvement, and then you will wait for some time, and then you will do the next improvement after some time. So that is why there is an improvement you have done in your process, your construction, whatever it is, and then you wait for it some time and see that what result it is giving, whether it is okay or not, then you start doing the other one. So that is a continual improvement. But in the long run, it is a part of continuous improvement. And then it is a concept initially to make changes and improvements in the existing system to produce better outcomes. So the improvement is actually, if you have a standardized system, then you do improvement and see that the system is actually producing a better outcome of your improvement. Then continuous improvement and continual improvement. This is the graph it shows. This is very clear and very simple. A continuous improvement is a linear graph. Against the time, your improvement is actually in the uphill, or maybe in the improvement is actually happening. And a continual improvement is you do little improvement and you wait for some time, and it is not in a straight line. Means you have interruptions, or maybe you wait for some time. You have done something and you found that there is an improvement you have, and you wait for some time, 1 or 2 or 3 months, and then you start the next one. But in the competitive kind of business, you cannot wait like that, because you have always been pushed by a competitor. So you will bring out another model or another process. Somebody else will do. Your competitor in a construction, he will have another new machines, new processes, or new people, new technique, things like that. So that is how the graphical, and this is the rapid improvement. Rapid improvement is actually, see, you can see the graph itself. You have done an improvement, and you actually studied, that is Kaizen, that you are going to discuss later. And then the Kaizen is actually 2 things. Then is plan, do, check, and act. And then standardize, do, check, and act. Because during after you have made your improvement and you keep it in a straight line. The straight line means there is no improvement. In the same time, you implement the Kaizen. The Kaizen is actually another tool. K means good. Zen means good. That is continuous improvement is actually defined. That is a Japanese word. So we will see that later. So then you immediately do another improvement, because without any gap, you are actually jumping to another improvement, and the process is actually continuously going. So that is using PDCA and SDCA cycles that we will see later. So this is rapid improvement. This is abrupt. There is no, the graph, you can see all the three graphs and see from the graph itself how continuous improvement, continual improvement, and rapid improvement, how it is actually been taking place. So this is PDCA, plan, do, check, act. This is Deming's wheel. You know what is Deming's wheel is? Deming is actually, Deming lived 1900 to 1993. He was actually a leading management thinker in the field of quality. He is one of the gurus of quality management. And in 1928, he is awarded a doctorate in mathematical physics. He was interested in non-manufacturing process. There was another there was another guy who was doing before him. He was actually doing the process, particularly in manufacturing, and this guy came and not manufacturing means in process, construction, management, administration, and things like that. So this is continuous improvement, how this plan, do, check, act work. You know, you can see that previously you have established a certain standard and you started working, and then you started making some improvement. This improvement, what you will do is you plan it, how it should be, you execute it. Plan means you make all the plan, what is actually the kind of improvement you have to do. If in a project, you will do a project chartered and things like that. So at the execution time, then you execute it and you check it. Check means you get the responses while you are doing it, whether it is good or bad, and then you act. So you standardize it and you proceed. So this cycle is a continuous thing. And then you can see that it is a cycle. It is continuous. This process is actually continuously done in any organization. This plan, do, check, and act. This is called a Deming wheel. It is continuous, and you are in the process of doing a continuous improvement, and it is growing, and time pass on, and you are doing another improvement. Again, you establish a certain standard of your product. See, it's like, look at the automobile industry. You know, every day, every year, you can see a new model, new. So they make a benchmark for a new standard. Things are changing. So this is what they do. This is basically implemented in the automobile industry, like Toyota and all in Japan. The maximum industries used, and Europe also, because the involvement of the system is actually found working to help them to improve. So the documentation, by doing studying and putting people to do understand the process and how good it is. So that is how this PDCA works. And then the positive impact of continuous improvement is value is added, and where value is absent, and how to dispose of invaluable waste. So invaluable waste, you know, like we said, you know, there are so many waste, time waste, product waste, and things like, you know, you have to dispose of this invaluable waste from the valuable process. So the organization adopts continuous improvement approach will see immeasurable benefit, including productivity, increased productivity. When you say increased productivity, reduce defects. When you reduce defects, you increase productivity. That is one of the tool, which is Six Sigma, defect reduction. And then you have improved quality. That is reduce variations, you know, because when you do a process, we have seen that how the variations come in manufacturing or anything, and today you did one activity, one process, and the same thing you did next time, like we were mentioning about concreting. or maybe producing a product. So it varies between certain limits, your acceptable limit. So that is the quality has to be, quality is mentioned, or quality product means within that. Then lower cost, because all these things, because end of the day, what happens is it is reducing your cost, because improved quality means good product, productivity means more numbers you produce, decrease delivery times, because the delivery time you can give more faster, you can deliver it, improved employee satisfaction and morale, because there is no questioning, or maybe there is the employee also is happy about the way they work and the support they get from the management, appreciation, things like, because they haven't made any mistakes. So then employee turnover rate, because you keep your employees not losing your employee or making new people and things like that. So continuous improvement, again, that is another description here. Ongoing improvements, incremental improvements over time of products, services, or process without interruptions. See the one which we saw, the graph, a straight line, there is no interference. It can be performance indicator over the time for an organization, because there will be KPIs for each department, because in companies, key performance indicators. So how you measure it? Like we said, because this is one of the performance indicator is the growth, the improvement, the measurable improvement. It's like go, 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 I mean, there is no interruptions. Then establish lean. Lean is actually eliminating waste. And establish lean manufacturing system through Kaizen. Kaizen is actually, we are going to discuss more detail about it. And 5S, these are all tools from Japanese industry. Then reducing waste and increasing customer value. And it focuses more on short and small improvement within a system, because these things are not large improvements. They are very small and short improvements within a system. So continual improvement, a system of repeating improvements. Like we said, we will do an improvement and then we pause for a while and then we do the next one. So there is a gap. So include Deming cycle, PDCA, and problem solving tools. Like we said, the PDCA, we will see it again, how the plan, do, check, and act. So this cycle, which will keep doing it, and we will be processing the improvement based on the Deming cycle. We will be studying it and evaluating it using this PDCA cycle. And it is like a start, stop, start, stop, start like that. It is, before it was go, 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 it is like start, stop. So here I have faced the system improvement. Break to analyze the success. So this helps actually what you have actually done an improvement, whether it is a success or then further improvements are made. Maybe we don't know the improvement what you have achieved is adding value to your business. That also needs to be checked. So that is another thing that we will talk later. So how this improvement can be analyzed. That's why in the continual improvement, you have done something and then you have a period of time, a short time to analyze it, whether it is how much value it is adding to the business. Then establish an effective QMS, quality management system, improving product and process quality. So this is part of it. And then we are, what are rapid improvements? This is designed to analyze and resolve core problems in a short period of time, immediate. Sometimes what happens, you have a failure. So you have to do something and then immediately you start investigating and see that what is the issue, because you have a failure, some problems in the process or the construction, whatever it is. So why do we need to fix it? So if this problem can forget it, or do we need to fix it, and why? What is the impact it is going to give to your process if you don't fix it? Then how soon do we need to fix it? Because how urgent it is, so that you will not lose your process efficiency or maybe your targets because of that particular process is failed. What do we control? What do we control means, as a team who is actually investigating what to do will think that what are the things under their control that they can fix it, because they may require a management approval which is not in their hands, or maybe they have to hire a supplier or a maintenance guy or a, what do you call, the expert, which may take time, that is also not in their control. So like that, what will happen if we do not fix it? See, that is the point. So they will evaluate and see that if I lose that productivity from that machine or that process, how it is going to affect the organization. What do we not want to get involved with? There are certain things you don't want to get involved with, because taking a quotation for buying some materials, it is not under your portfolio, because later you may be questioned that why, who asked you to get this material, who is going to pay for it, could have got something less than that, all sort of things. Because some people, some levels, it all depends on the level. Recommendations are made to the senior management. They will assess it or maybe review it and see that what action has to be done. Maybe that is not within your capacity. And not have, and what do we not have control over? The same thing, what all things you can do, you cannot do, and what you can control within yourself. Action changes things. Act. If you act, then things will change, because it's just a description of, if you make an attempt to act or start doing something, then it will change the whole scenario. So a rapid improvement model, which is the same thing, which is here, act, plan, do, study. Because the point here is, what are we trying to accomplish? Because when you start doing an improvement process, you have a goal that I want to change from this process in this way to another level. So you are already set some goals. So that is what you have to establish before you start doing. You have to say the goal there and see what are we trying to accomplish. Okay, you have a goal there. How will we know that a change is an improvement? And again, and you are going to put your effort, your resources, that is going to give an improvement or not? What is the value addition you will have in your process, in your organization by doing? Because every improvement, any change, always have a resources requirement. Resources means money. That is going to be spent. So is it going to, because you, unless and until you are not very clear then about the improvement, what you are going to do, you have to make sure that, how will we know that the change is an improvement? That change will have improvement in your process. What change can we make that will result in improvement? And you will study the kind of improvements what you want to do it, and then you will study and decide what kind of improvement you will do it. So that is what the study here. So you will plan, do it, and then you study it. Study means it is not acting. It is not check. Checking is only that you are getting the results. Here you are studying about the three above items what is spoken about. So the same thing which you will do in the rapid model, you will do continuously doing. You will do a plan, do, study, and act, So this process will keep continuing in your process. Then only you will have a growth or an improvement cycle. You can change that result in an improvement. This is continuously done. So then only your improvement model is actually working, because there is a lot of certain amount of study is required, documentation is required, understanding is required, knowledge is required. Then only you can, suppose you change without knowing the basics and the fundamentals of the function of that particular item you are making. If you don't know what it is made for, how it is made for, what function it is going to give, if you don't have the idea, you cannot do a change, because you will not know what you will end up with. So rapid may not be continuous sometimes, because you do a rapid improvement. It may not be a continuous thing sometimes, because the rapid is actually an immediate attention, or maybe immediately you will respond to a situation and give a rapid improvement, and that may not be sometimes continuous, but it will be the process of the continuation or the continuous improvement cycle you can pull in. Then why focus on process? Because in every organization or manufacturing or construction or everything, 85% of improvement opportunities are in the process area. Process means you start your processing of all your activities, materials, construction, and all whatever actually you have to do the activities in a process. So all this actually happens in there. Then you come with the service and product and output, whatever it is. So the focus is always put in the process area. That is why you have to focus there. What is actually the meaning of Kaizen? Kaizen means, this is a Japanese thing, change good, continual improvement. Actually, this is come from Japan, Kaizen. Earlier we had Maruti had a Zen car. So means in Japan, it is Japanese, it is a good car. The meaning is, it's a continual improvement. What is Kaizen? Kaizen is actually a tool or maybe a process which is used in this continuous improvement system. So in 1986, Japanese management consultant Masaki Imai originated the concept, and it is one of the key to Japanese competitive success. Spread all over the world, especially Western companies adopted the concept actually. This is started in 1986 by the Japanese management consultant. So the Kaizen, like we said, in a change good means improvement. It is meaning of achieving just-in-time production. You know what is it? Is a supply chain management system. You provide your materials and other things, as the time when it is required. You will not just bring and stack it in your store for wasting your area as well as dumping your money there. And the continuous supply of components and parts system of, because you know what is to be supplied when. So that has to be, there shouldn't be any delay in providing the raw materials to a process, because you cannot wait, because there will be a delay in the process or in construction or whatever it is, because you wait for the material. So this will help you to improve the situation and know in advance. So this enables workers to have what they need, because some people are working in any part in doing some construction work or in the factory work or whatever, wherever, what they need, because all the processes are not same, because they need some material, tools and things like. So it will define what are the needs of these people. So it will help. And then where they need it, because in which location they require this kind of materials or tools. and when they need it. This will identify which time, today, tomorrow, and then the other process is going. So when they will be required. So you have an advanced planning, in providing the necessities to the process. Then continuous improvement Kaizen strategy. So maintain and improve the working standard through small gradual improvements. And then Kaizen refers to 3 continuous change aims to reduce inefficiency in 3 major forms. That is, this is also a Japanese word. Muda means waste. Muri means overburdening work. You know that you don't overburden the workforce by dumping a lot of work on them, because they will not produce it. They will make a lot of mistakes. So, and then Mura, it's inconsistency of work, because they will not do a consistent work. They will have a problem, because this is the reduced inefficiency in major. These are Japanese thing. And then produce a system approach like PDCA and problem solving tools. Like PDCA is always everywhere, it is there, and apply to realizing this goal, because use this PDCA cycle to do this study and improve the situation. And then TQM movement or continuous improvement. This is a management tool which will help total quality management, movement, or continuous improvement. End of the day, TQM actually, the goal of TQM is continuous improvement. And this is the Kaizen PDCA wheel, how it is actually the methodology working. The plan means define the project. This, when we are using this for a project. Project charter, you know what is project charter is. It's a document conforms to the specification, scope of work, and entrusting the project manager to start the work. As a document which is created, but it is not normal in elsewhere, but in this part of the world it is done, because they create a certain project charter document and signed by the higher management that entrusting the project manager to start working. Then validate your assumptions, because by when you start doing it, you need to see that whatever assumptions what you have made is correct. That is the kind of validation you have to do, because if you don't see that what you have assumed is not working, and the validation is not there because you are wrong assumptions, then hold even implement action plan, because whatever you have decided to implement, you start implementing it. Because I'm talking, all these things are related to quality systems. Okay, then the focus here always is quality. And check, monitor progress, result, and then periodic change reviews and updating, and see that what actually you have got. And then adopt, adjust, abandon, sustain improvements, because you can, if you see that improvement is actually adding value and you can improve and continue it, or if it is not giving any value, you can abandon it. So this cycle actually helps, and this continuous improvement. This is a methodology for continuous improvement. So this is the what we have seen before is PDCA, and here it is PDSA. S means standard, but once you have done one process and you standardize it, standards are created with employees, data users involved, and then you will do the same standard. Like we have seen in the rapid improvement, there is a pause. Once you do a development and then you do a pause and you standardize it and you continue doing the same thing. A car manufacturer will bring out a model and he will continue producing it for maybe a year or two until he manufactures a new model. The same thing, that standard, and then you see and study it and see that model, that standards, what you have established is actually good. Is there any problem? And you keep on doing that, you are continuously doing it. And then we see, compare standard with current situation. So you will check. So that is, again, this cycle continues in this process. modify if it is found that it is not a good kind of improvement and good, you cannot, it is not worthy to have a standardization of that change, you change it again. So that is what this whole thing is about. And now we come to a project. It is a typical EPCI, engineering, procurement, construction, and installation. How this PDCA works there. So the PDCA work like you have a quality management system. You start with what is that? The document control, change control, operation, risk management, suppliers, subcontract management, equipment and asset management. These are all quality management system, quality manual, quality policy, quality objectives, quality records. This is actually you already created. Now you apply this using the PDCA, how it is going to work. So you come to the planning stage. What it is actually project quality policy, because you have to have a project quality policy, which how you are going to execute your processes or how you are going to do it. You have a policy in the company that this is what we are going to do. Like I said, when you enter so many companies, you can see those who are ISO certified companies, you will see a kind of thing, policy is actually hanged on the wall, demonstrating or describing what is the quality policy, mission, vision, and objectives. So this is what it is basically then. Quality objectives and quality plan, ITP, inspection and test plan, project planning, schedule, requirement, training plan, because people are to be trained in, because in the process you have new people, maybe some people are not aware of what kind of work is to be performed, some new machines comes, they should be trained. They should be always, there should be a training or a mentoring by the senior people of the people, otherwise they will not know. If somebody won't come and ask you how it is actually being done, then you will not be, he will not, many people won't come and ask you. And you have to make sure that this information is passed on to them, and so that they will perform according to what it is required. And recruitment and training plan, how many people are, resources you need, calibration schedule, maintenance plan, deliverable list, dossier list, and so many things, document distribution matrix. If you're producing a lot of drawings, documents, and who are all receiving this MOB demolition plan, this is actually a plan you created, and then you are implementing or execution, do. Review project requirements, contract review. So what is actually the contract with your client or somebody? That is the execution stage. Design engineer, you have to design the whole thing. The design department will carry out the design according to the scope of work. Then that needs to be seen, because all this will have the quality system. It has to go through the quality system like we discussed before. Then procurement, material control. Then construction and fabrication, installation and transportation of the materials. You have to, the logistic, you have to plan for the logistic when you will, like in Dubai and all, it is a big thing. Like you have a lot of materials, what time you will, the truck can move on the road. There is specific time. The large items on this thing, you need a special permission from the police, like that. And if it is not received on site by early morning, they will be stuck. So you have to do a logistic plan in advance, and you have to mobilize your trucks or maybe trailers accordingly. So it is not a simple thing, like it can hinder your process or your progress of the work. And control of measuring equipment, because so many machines are there which to be controlled, and make sure that it is working properly and it is giving you the output as well as the correct way. Inspection and testing, auditing. So all these things to be periodically tested. So you will have a construction site, so many equipment. So this has to be tested accordingly, maintained. And you have to prepare some sort of a documentation or a plan for doing all these things periodically. Control of document records. And then you come to check This is your progress report, deliverable status, and purchasing monitoring status, inspection monitoring, and HSE statistics, audit results, NCR reports. You conduct inspection, and definitely you will have some of your non-conformity reports. Then technical queries, change orders, because they will raise technical queries during the construction, because many things will not sometimes go according to the drawing, or maybe some additional scope will be introduced because of some reason. So you have to, that is a change order. So you have to agree on whether how long it will take, at what time frame, what revenue, or how much it is going to cost for the company. They have to agree on that. So these are all things during the process of the construction time, your inspection and check. Quality performance indicators, because you like your key performance indicators, you have here quality performance indicator, good, bad, or poor, or whatever it is. So you classify it according to what is an agreed documentation by the client, and also the in-house quality system, because I will decide that the quality of this product, below this I'm not going to deliver to the client, because it is going to affect my performance, means my business and my market share, because people will complain. So satisfaction survey, data analysis management, and then all this thing is done. When it comes to the action plan, where it is management is involved. All this is actually done without the management. So you will produce all these outcomes to the management, and management will also take a decision on various aspects, which will see how they control the expenses according to, if you make some decision on new methodologies, it is going to cost. Corrective action and preventive action, that we have seen continual improvement. That is actually the process of continual improvement. So this is actually a construction work, how this continual work and the PCDA system, how it is working. Then we come to the Kaizen. We are talking about Kaizen, what it is actually Kaizen, and what is Kaizen process. The Kaizen process, step is identify the problem. Step 2 is analyze the problem. Step 3 is develop solution. And step 4 is implement solution. And step 5 is analyze results. What is actually you have implemented and what results it has given. And standardize the solution. Because you have a solution now for a problem and you standardize, you will not change here and there, so it is working. That is the Kaizen process. It's a continuous improvement, 5 principles, Kaizen. Sorry. There is, in the 5 principles, it is always, we always say that there is always room for improvement. The improvement process never ends. Today, what we see 10 years ago, what we have seen a calculator, or sorry, a mobile phone is not the same way as what today we are seeing. It's changed. The automobile, everything what we see, the TVs, anything what you do, you are just look at anything what you see. It is not the same way as 10 years before, because there is always a room for improvement. And believe me, another 10 years down the line, you will be seeing something else. So it is always expected that this is a process, because the perfection is not in our hands. It's only God can do it. So there is always some part is always left behind for us to work hard or intelligently work and achieve to reach to the perfection limit. So workers are confident about offering suggestions. You take on board your employees or the people, those who are actually executing the work in the factory or in the construction site. So a participative kind of activity should be there. So it is not that you just simply sit in your AC cabin and just give some instruction. We don't know what people are doing. Let it be participative. We go with them and see that what they are doing. Is there any suggestion that you can improve this process? If I do it this way, what happens? If I do it that way, what happens? It's always the philosophy is comes after the practice. So I can say that Isaac Newton has actually seen the apple falling, then he developed the theory. It is not because the theory is there, that's why the apple fell. It's not like that. We learn from the nature, all the science, all these processes, all the techniques, we are learning from the nature. That is science, how things works in the nature. So it's a part of it that we actually adopt. We try to understand, prove it with mathematics, and practice it and see that what all the things we didn't consider. So that's why we put a factor of safety. I always say factor of ignorance, because we don't know many things. That's why we put it. So then everyone's opinion is valued and considered, because the people's opinion is always should be considered, because they can sometimes give very, very important suggestions which can save money and time. Because this will be very helpful while you do the value engineering. Because you participate value engineering by the persons from the field also, because they know exactly how it is done. You don't know how it is done sitting in the office making drawings or making designs. So the person who really, the foreman, the worker, it's the foreman actually, or the supervisor, he will give suggestions to do certain things in different ways. What you have thought, maybe it will reduce your cost or your effort considerably. So that is why always you make sure or see that your value engineering, and it is along with that there is something called constructability review. So many things you design it, but you cannot construct, so it goes together. So that you have the participative kind of thing from the field as well, the one who really do the job. Then strong personal discipline, because all the people right from top to bottom, because every organization cannot just simply function without a discipline, because there are set rules, set discipline, which gives an organized way of functioning. That is why it is called an organization. Organization means everything is organized. That is what the terminology is altogether. Then teamwork in quality circles. The quality circles we just touch, and I will talk also about it. The quality circle is actually a small group of the bottom level, and they meet every day, and then they share their work difficulties as well as what you call knowledge. And you have a new guy join the company, and you're putting in along with a small group, and you have to be, because they will working with that team, he will learn the job, and they will share their difficulties each other. So that is a kind of principle is called quality circles. That's a teamwork. It is always done as a team. Then Kaizen implementation concept. Kaizen encompasses many of the components of Japanese business that have been as a part of their success. Some of the procedures inspired by the concepts are 5S, the Deming cycle, which we have discussed, and then quality circles, then Kanban, visual sign. These are all. This is another tool, another procedure concepts which you implement in the factory or in the construction site. I have seen this implemented in big companies at the site in construction. So what is 5S workplace organization? 5S is actually some sort of the organized, neat and clean and things like, the sort, SARI. SARI means sort, it's a Japanese word. The environment and other things, and simplify, Seiton. That means Seiton, means simplify, and shine sweep, that is Seisu, and standardize or stick, Seiketsu, and then sustain, Shitsuku. So this is Japanese word. It's difficult to pronounce, and it is written also in English. It is little, but the meaning we know. 5S is more than just spring cleaning. Like what is actually the definition? Keeping things. SARI means organize. SATON means neat and clean, even in personal and environment aspects. It helps to organize an individual and personal basis as well. So that is how it is. What is SARI? Denotes action to identify and sort out all items into necessary and unnecessary items and discard all unnecessary items. So you have to sort out what is needed, what is not needed, and you throw it in the trash. This is basically in the office atmosphere and your house or everywhere, when you see that everything is in an organized cleaning or sorted out in a proper way, you feel that this fellow is an organized one. That impression is created by that. Second is SATON, arranging. Means arrange everything in proper order so that it can be easily picked up for use. A place for everything and everything in its place. So it's like if you walk into a factory or a workshop or anywhere, you can see that the tools and other things are organized in such a manner. So he knows which spanner is hanging where and the number is, and it should be there. So it is available in such a way that, arranged in such a way that easily accessible. Then so clean and shine. So means sweep workplace thoroughly so that it is no dust, oil. It is like sensitive kind of manufacturing units. Like you cannot have dust, oil, and oil is actually a safety issue as well. When you walk, you can slip and fall. Shine means we sweep floors, scrub machine. Because nowadays in the pandemic, this is one of the most important things to keep your area clean, so that it is don't allow the virus to spread through any of your part of the body. It also means preventive maintenance. If you keep clean, neat, everything, the life of functioning, the life of that particular equipment or machine or maybe the process will enhance. And standardize. Great maintenance system for the first three developed, because the three items what we have seen. Then introduce a maintenance system for the first three. Develop procedures, schedules, practices. This all then you need to standardize. In this part of the world, if every toilet, bathrooms and all, you can see a sheet hanging there in a plastic folder. Every day somebody comes and clean it and he signs it at the time. So it is documented and it is saying, okay, you will see that this man has cleaned today. The toilet is cleaned today or not. Because this practice is not very much there back in India. Even in airports also, I haven't seen in India, but elsewhere it is there. So that this kind of activities or maybe actions are taken to prevent or maybe enhance your quality systems. Then squeeze, sustain and discipline. So this is 5S means everything in its place. People must also be in their place at the right time, because you can see that in a work site or in a factory or anywhere, people will be moving around. They go away from their work location. So that is also another thing. You have to have that discipline. You don't meander around, and then wasting your time and also wasting other time as well. So you can see that in many offices, people are keeping talking and intellectual. I always say that it is an intellectual interaction rather than wasting time sometimes. So the 5 is discipline and the part of health and safety, because this helps a lot in your health and safety. Involve the whole workforce, keep good habits. So that is what 5S altogether means. And quality circle. This I have shown before. It's a way of capturing the creative and innovative power that lies within the workforce. So this slide I have seen, if I tell somebody, he will forget. If I ask them or show them something, they will remember. And then you make them do it, so you will understand it. So that is quality circle principle, that you have to see that creativity, because creativity is always there. And see how the creativity comes. You know, the creativity comes if you are facing a challenge. It is creativity. If you have a difficulty in doing something, you start thinking, creativity comes in. So creativity again is a challenge for innovations. Then it also helps to have artificial intelligence. So again, you know, the engineers, you know, when they do a kind of activities, they always want to do in the shortest durable time, shortest period of time. Like from A to B, they want to travel, they will take the shortest route and finish it. But creativity cannot be. It is called the meandering. You know, you have to spend little time during the process, then only the creativity comes. Otherwise, creativity will not come. So the necessary or maybe sufficient time allocation, or maybe he's doing something, a participative kind of thing, and innovative. People can do a lot of creativity and innovation. Unless and until you don't have critical thinking, you cannot create. The creativity will not come. If you are pushed to an edge and you are critical, then you start thinking about creativity, because I have to do this way, maybe it will work. So I don't know whether you know the butterfly effect. I will talk about that later in another one, because it's a small story back in the US about butterfly effect. So steps involved in developing quality circles, like how the quality circles are implemented. When you start as a process or a project, startup phase, that people will get together, small group of each activity, each location, and constitution of QC, because they will see what are the quality procedures and policies needs to be implemented. They will see that, they will read it, or they are explained to them that this is what it is expected as the quality from you. And then initial problem solving, like they will start thinking, and if there is any issues related to quality, they start solving it. Then if they have done some sort of an activity for solving this issue, then they will present that report for approval and suggestions, their proposals. Then you do the implementation. This is the steps which you will do in quality circle. And the quality circle is a form of participation management. That's what I said. It is a participation kind of activity, project management. Without participation, you cannot have a quality circle, because it is related to that. You know, you need to understand each other. And quality circle is a human resources development technique also, because you bring somebody, as I said before, a new person, and he doesn't know how this company is working, how this construction site is, what machines are used, what activities, concreting, reinforcement, and things like. So you will develop this by putting that person with that group. That is a part of human resources development as a training. And quality circle is a problem solving technique. And few heads together can come up with some solution for a problem. So instead of running around and sitting idle, and they will solve the problem by themselves and continue doing the job, so that there is no waste of time. So it's like board meeting. What we do as a board, or maybe management board meeting, what you do. This is what similarly is a big groups sitting together and analyzing all the problems reported, and then finding out what are the solutions you can implement. So that is why it is called a board meeting. Then benefits and limitations of quality circle. Quality circle effects on individuals' characteristics, because the individual will be developed, their characteristics effects on that. Circle effects on individual relation with others, because you are in a team, so you have a better relation with the other person in the circle. Quality circle effects on workers and their attitude. Attitude will change, because you will have a wrong attitude or maybe a negative attitude when you don't find a solution for a problem. So once you have a solution for a problem, you are happy, and your attitude will change, and you will get an energy to start thinking positive, and you will be a normal, better person, smiling person. That productivity increases, and you will be more loyal to the company as well. So the limitation of quality circle participation is not always voluntary in all cases. Even if you ask some people to do it or come together and form a group, some people won't come. They won't like it, or maybe they like to be alone by themselves. So that kind of attitude also there. Sometimes it is not voluntary. You can say if you give an instruction to form a group, maybe it's not, some people will not take it voluntarily. And participation fades away if it lacks the top management support. What happens? Many of the companies, what I have seen, because you encourage doing all these philosophies or maybe activities to improve this action plans at the beginning, and management give direction at the beginning, and later they won't even come into picture. So they won't even talk to people. They don't even review what is going on. They won't even talk to people. That kind of attitude from the management will not help in forming an effective quality circle. And no involvement of trade unions, because there is no trade unions. But in India, I don't know, especially in Kerala, how it will work. Anyway, what is Kanban? We were saying about Kanban. Another tool, how it is actually Kanban translate from Japanese visual sign. It's like a visual sign, maybe it is a signboard kind of card, and originated from Toyota production system and lean manufacturing in the late 1940s after the Second World War. Toyota made improvements in the process by modeling them after how supermarkets stock their shelves by engineer Eiichi Ohno. Because this man is an engineer. He was actually once in a supermarket. Then he saw this kind of small card sticker on the rack. And it says what? This is actually the number of items there, and it is going to be finished, or what action is required. Each rack has actually had a card sticker describing the details. So from there, and this guy had thought, why don't we introduce this in the production side, in the factory, or in the construction side, we can do it. So Toyota brought this concept to the factory floor. This great engineer, we can say that. Small thing, but it helps a lot. So it communicates that they were ready to pull more materials to complete their work. So it's three basic principles. Visualize what you do today, workflow. It describes that card. Saying all the items in context of each other can be very informative, because everybody can walk beside it, and it is always actually stuck on a main board. I will show you the picture. Then limit the amount of work in progress. So you overburden the people, or maybe you have a lot of things in pending to do or complete today. You will not dump a lot of work which people cannot, or maybe cannot realistically achieve that progress. So you will know how many things we can finish it today, how fast we can. So it will give an idea. So enhance flow, and then it will not be, items will not be pending. So it will have a continuous flow to complete the work. So the methodology is like that. I will explain here better. So you have, say, when you go to, I have seen this in construction site, a big board like this. So when you go to the site, you will see different colored stickers and under the writing, say, to do today, the whole project needs to complete this many number of items. So how many are doing today or now, and how many I have done? So immediately you know that how many you can do today and when you will finish it. So it is a signboard kind of thing, it is a saying. And in the factory or inside, these are the activities you have to do, and how many are pending, how many are doing, how many are done. So this will give you kind of information, very pictorial information, so that everybody can understand. The worker can understand, the management CEO can understand easily, because instead of going through all the documentation that what is your progress on other things, it is displayed practically on the site by this way. Then 5 stages in visualizing your work in Kanban. So what is actually written on this card? Each card will have some writing on it. So first is list work types. Type 1, type 2, type 3, you have to list out. And then define workflow steps. So what is actually a workflow step? You are conducting, or maybe doing it, or have done it. Per type, how many you have to do it. So all these details you will describe on that. So identify and visualize key pain points. See, there are items may not be possible to do it. And while doing, somebody will come and change your priorities. So executive flag by and request, hey, look, keep this aside and do this for me, or do this. So he will have a change in the process. So that may affect, or maybe it will enhance. So we don't know. Then blocked, can't move forward. There are certain activities you cannot continue doing it because of some reason. So you identify that, writing on that card, say this item I cannot continue because it is blocked due to certain reasons. So somebody has to take action to remove the block. Then this is the kind of sticker what we have seen. The map key information to card. You have to map the information on the card by putting the number of how many people are actually engaged in that particular task. The name, short form, and it is a blocked item because size of the metric, it is 3 or of days, number of days you allocated, all those things. It is written. It is handwritten. You can see. And then is the same thing what I have shown before, the same kind of thing. This is how Kanban technique works, because a small thing, but it will display your activities in a very pictorial form to understand everybody in a very clear manner, so that you don't have to worry. And even if you don't know what is the work to be done today, you just go and look at this board and see that who is doing what, also it says. So this kind of information is, or activity, or maybe this kind of philosophy is actually being implemented in factories, construction site, any activity, any process driven thing, you can apply it. When organization fail to recognize the importance of continuous improvement, because sometimes organization do not give a priority, or they don't recognize the importance of continuous improvement, because this is a kind of picture which shows that you have put all the effort, project management maturity, you have reached to a certain level, and then you are stagnant their exploitation. You don't put a further improvement. And the risk is that your competitor is actually going a continuous improvement, and he will outrightly, he will push you behind, so that your chance is gone. So that your aim is to have a better, improved version of your activity, better than your competitor. So that your competitor is actually the one who is forced you to do this continuous improvement. Otherwise, you will not stay in the market. Then that is how it is. Again, time, sustained competitive position, you will keep increasingly doing your improvement. That is what basically it is. Steps for continuous improvement and growth. These are the steps what we have. Most of them we have seen. 5S we saw. Kaizen we seen. Lean, that is not detailed, we have seen. Six Sigma also we haven't seen. Design for Six Sigma. This is actually the ladder of continuous improvement of the process. The process, this is how it can, say, look at the tree, how it is growing. So this is a symbolic presentation. What are the tools or what are the philosophies required to do continuous improvement and growth of an organization. Then setting KPIs, key performance indicators for improvement of goals. To check success of continuous improvement, you need KPIs or key performance indicators in place. Then on-time performance, meeting deadlines, productivity, these are all KPIs, because you give set KPIs for each department, each person also. When you have a contract, these are your KPIs. This is up to certain time, you have to do this. Your performance should be within this. Then productivity, then quality, then financial, cost reduction, inventory, and stock on hold, stock held, the quantity of stock held. They are unnecessarily dumping money, because more stock means more money is stacked. And health and safety, reportable accident, minor accidents, then continuous improvement, Lean, Six Sigma, 7QC tools, Kaizen, value stream mapping, VSM. That is also not studied. This is also another tool which is actually used for quality systems. That is a big one. We will do it later, value stream mapping. Then how to achieve the goal, commitment and support from management. Organization, like I mentioned before, without management support, nothing will work. You just ignore. Once you implement certain philosophy or maybe some action plan, the management has to review it and continuously support. Organizational improvement must work with leadership. That who is the leader, the one who motivate to a common goal, a system, that kind of a thing. Encouraging everyone to rank up and learn new skills that can help them achieve the best results. Because we are living in a very dynamic situation. We are in the post-COVID situation. Skills are very, very important to do, to practice, to improve your efficiency, productivity, and quality. That is the thing which you need to improve to sustain. Your sustainable growth is based on these things. And improvement is something that makes human growth interesting. Like if I put a new shirt or a new car or a new whatever it is, something new, you feel that it is interesting and you feel good. So the improvement in your personal life, your workplace, everything makes a difference, because it will be more interesting. It should be a passion there. So for doing a continuous improvement, innovation, and quality improvement, the creativity, I would say you should always have the creativity, because nowadays creativity, critical thinking are big subjects which are being now in webinars, in many, even our company also sometimes doing. What is creativity? What is critical thinking? How you can motivate people? What is actually there? So it's happening everywhere. People are become very, very active after this pandemic. Because how to improve things. We are wasting a lot of things. Your luxuries are no more luxuries. The matrices are changed. The business models are changed. How you sustain. So things started changing. So you have to have that pace up with the changing world. Then Kaizen implementation, time constraints. These are things which sometimes difficult to implement Kaizen. So because of these reasons, time constraint, some organizations think that it is time consuming thing. So they don't have, always say that we are busy, we don't have time to do or study or do this. Lack of adequate resources, maybe we don't have people to engage, or maybe to do the activities, or maybe to lead. to requirements are to be done by. You need some resources. People are not available, so they will come with excuses. Miscalculations in the goal setting, like we said, what are you going to accomplish? Because those things needs to be very well correctly, or maybe clarity should be there. Whether you need to, that the PCDA, you have to study well and see that I'm going to, if this activity is going to give me a value added improvement, or it is going to be a waste. You need to understand that before you start doing it. And internal and external resistance, because many people, even though they don't participate, they will become negative. And they said, we don't do it. Some people are there. Even if any change, change of, because by changing the concept, you are forced to come out of your comfort zone. Because when you do something which you know it very well, and you are comfortable, you are experienced in that, you don't want to change. So you want, some people are there, no, I'm not changing and I'm still stick to this, what I'm doing. Even this concept was there when the computerization and all this thing comes, people don't change. But over a period of time, people found that they are pushed behind and they are nowhere near to the rest of the world, or maybe competency, you lose your competency. This continuous improvement may be too slow for your organization. This is how the management will take a decision on how to do it. Where is your biggest opportunity? Strengthen balance sheet, your profit, or exploit competitive market, where you want to sell more product and be in the market so that your organization can sustain. You do a lot of good project. Achieve long-term goals like your vision. What is the long-term goals you want to achieve so that you're working, and improve sales or operations. Which are the areas you will focus on, the management and the leadership will focus on to improve your organization. And this is how an organization has to make a priority on things which, even all the time, if you start looking at the profitability and maths, it will not work. So that is another thing, the balance scorecard. Maybe we'll talk later about it. So there are so many things which need to look at it, and the participation from all the what we have seen is tools, commitment, your priorities, and your quality conscious and quality culture. Everything is that. So he is Mr. Edward Deming. He was, I told you, he once said, 85% of the reasons for failure are deficiencies in the system and process rather than the employee. It is very well said it, because people always blame the employee, but your system and processes are not correct. You are maybe doing a non-value added, value added. You have to identify this first before you start blaming or maybe assessing it. How much participation I have seen in one of those things. I said, the process development, how much time an employee, the management is spending time on process development of our organization. Maybe 1 hour a month. This is what he is busy with something else. That is wrong. A lot of other issues actually make him engage, not focusing on the real issues. The role of management is to change the process rather than badgering individuals to do better. So this is Edward Deming, is a learned guru of quality. And then again, he also says it is not enough to do your best. You must know what to do. First, you need to know what to do and then do your best. Because it is not just simply doing, keep on doing, but you don't know what you are going to accomplish. What is your problem? So you have to identify it. That is what these people have come up. Anyway, thank you for your time investing in your future. The more number of people, I will be happy that knowledge enhancement is be a student throughout your life, because you start learning new things. every day, because things are changed. The skill models, what we learn today was not effective or maybe taught in 10 years before. But now it is very much important because you have to practice it to bring more value to the organization and to yourself. Otherwise, you cannot have a sustainable growth. So that is what basically it is. And also said, remember, a goal without a plan is just a wish. You must have a goal. A plan should have a goal always, otherwise it will not work. So this is the end of our presentation. Any questions? That is, you're open now.
Good evening. It was an excellent presentation. My name is Ratish. I'm a retired professor of Jyoti Engineering College, and earlier I was working as the Chief Engineer of Kerala Water Authority. In fact, I was
nice to meet you.
Yeah, I was interested in attending this one so that I'll be able to share this information to my students. But in the meanwhile, I have left the college and now working on a consultancy now. But I have a question to you who has been experienced in this industry for quite long. See, on one hand, civil engineering is still going in the brick and mortar style, whereas the ICT and other applications are doing wonders in the rest of the field. So on one hand, we need to go or move on with the automation and the robotics and ICT, all those things, which is yet to see in the industry. And at the same time, again, all these quality improvement and management effectiveness measures like quality circle, all those things which are quite in use in the manufacturing industry or the production industry is again to come into the civil engineering. So how do you find the future of these things merging into civil engineering and doing its best? I'm eager to see whether, I don't know whether we'll be able to see it.
Yes, in my experience, mostly around 35 years, I worked abroad. And most of the organizations where I worked, this is not manufacturing, it is projects. It's like large projects, oil and gas, or maybe other areas, which is civil, mechanical, electrical, all the disciplines are involved. So where there is an activity, because process, what we define is any activity, whether it is manufacturing or a construction or anything. The philosophy is the same. It is, but the thing is, what I have said in all these small little philosophies and tools, what people are, it is implemented in this part of the world or elsewhere. Like if I go to a construction site, the Kanban is there. I can see the stickers, how many activities are going on from one look. I don't need to call somebody, waste somebody's time. It has been, it's like a sign card, sign board. It is giving the information. These are all simple things, tools, and people, I don't know how much importance, but like I've seen, the importance given to these things outside is much effective, because that is, it's a culture. Like you don't have to push them, or maybe today, if I go to a construction site in India or in Kerala somewhere, you don't see anything of this kind in there.
Exactly.
People I don't know, because this is the problem. What when I came here working with this particular company, the CEO asked me a question. See, Varghese, we are actually doing a project similar to what a British or a European company is doing, but we are not getting work. They are getting work, even though their price is higher. Then I immediately said, where is your quality policy on the wall? So this is what actually the difference it makes when an Indian attitude or maybe approach. So we don't give importance to these things, but elsewhere, other people, they try to eliminate the errors and the wastage or maybe the mistakes, the minimum possible by implementing these small tools. And information, like a quality circle, you know, how you can improve, because it is how we can measure it, how we can achieve this kind of things. So it's a culture we need to develop. Otherwise, we don't have a future, like I would say. We can do a sustainable kind of growth requires all this. Nowadays, people look for qualified people with skill knowledge. They need skill because otherwise the skill is not there. People won't even employ, you know, because they want to do a job, work get done. So not that the lot of knowledge is we learn from the institution, college, universities, lot of knowledge, but the type of knowledge what we require to implement the application engineering knowledge is not there. Like still now we don't have a subject quality assurance, quality control in our curriculum.
Very true.
Which is very essential. This is it's now I think it is long. The time is too much. We should have introduced this. This is what now we go for. Even I used to take interviews. Immediately I don't go in detail about the technical. I'll ask about QA/QC or HSE and these kind of questions I ask. So I mean, how we improve, because these philosophies we are following this philosophy, civil engineering, structural engineering, all this, we didn't change the fundamentals of our philosophies from the last maybe 50 years. It is the same. It's the same, because why we still break our blood? Let us learn more techniques so that we can do a good job and build the career of people, and they will enjoy it also by getting it. But whom it is like who will build the cart, or which whatever we say, and whose here it is falling. So anyway, but we had somewhere it has to take an initiative. Somebody has to take an initiative to come with this kind of things. Don't worry, I am back in there, and we will do a lot of presentations in the college and all. I like to see that should have their children, the students should have their broad kind of lookout, rather than just finding and deriving equations by dy by dt. Is not going to work. Nobody is going to ask for it.
Exactly.
In fact, we are actually trying to. In fact, we are trying to conduct interactive sessions with institutions also. A couple of colleges have approached us. Now we need to introduce such a system wherein quality is being introduced during the educational system itself.
Yes,
so exactly. That we are aware of it.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I will. Shall I ask some question?
Yes.
I will contribute to what Engineer Dishal was telling, asking towards Varghese sir. See, we are basically in civil engineers, right? Basically, civil engineers doing in projects. We are doing projects, not in the production centers like fabrication factory or factory. No, we are doing projects, small scale projects. All are maybe in different private sector or government sector, oil sector. What I've seen that the certification, like ISO certification was a good tool when the company has been pre-qualified based on certification a long time, 10 years before. When you have an ISO certified for a company, we can worthwhile recommend that company that this company has following all the system in terms of policies, procedures, vision, mission, quality policy. Now, if you go back and review the certification of the company, even the quality policy who signed, the managing director or the chairman of the company, he may be reading only the time of signing. Such small private companies.
It's a tick box, I call.
He may be reading while signing. That's it. The following that require a management commitment, and it's just a certification. Now that certification has gone, like quality certification or IS, or is it ISO or safety or environmental. Now that importance has gone. Okay, before it was recognized this company is certified means we can expect something from this company. Now it's just namesake. So you know where we will end up in this. We can say a lot of principles, but practically, are we following these things?
No. Who is actually should be blamed for this?
And this is what I'm thinking, because oil sector companies, I agree, oil sector companies, okay, there are defined procedures. Major
No,
MNCs,
no,
there are
it is,
defined
there
procedures.
is, there
But
is
small
no,
companies,
there is no specialized, any organization which will do a process which will have QAQC. It is oil and gas
because
or construction or manufacturing. Everywhere this QAQC is there because you are producing
because they
something
are,
out of nothing. That process needs to be checked and improved. A quality product has to come out. And if you are doing, you said in civil engineering, there is a lot of areas where you can implement this QAQC in civil engineering. How you do your pouring your concrete, how you do your design is actually made, how you do your, so many things are there which you are not, people are not following. Even you don't even trace the reinforcement. What is the heat number of your reinforcement bar? If you ask, how do you know?
no, that is a challenge we face. Actually, that's a challenge we face in civil engineering,
You
because
should
people,
you should come forward. You know, people like you should come forward. That enthusiasm should not go down.
no, the team which we get in construction always changes. It's a vulnerable team. You can see, because the team keep
That's,
changes. If we
that's
have 10
definitely a
people,
big problem. Yes, the team, it keeps changing.
keep
Even all of
changing.
us
Yeah.
have the same problem, and we never get the right people, the people who we really require.
Who are the
Yes.
right people?
Yeah.
Who are
Again,
the right
knowledgeable,
people?
knowledgeable person, people who can implement.
In,
Yeah.
in factory, if I implement my team, it will work. In a fabrication setup, if I set up a team of 10 people, and all these principles applied on this team, it will work. But in a project, it's a building or infrastructure, very
My,
difficult.
my question is, I work with companies which is civil also is there, and in this company also we have practical site execution.
Okay.
So there it is working. And when I was at the most efficiently I have seen when I was in Singapore, that company used to do $1 billion projects. It is excellent site management system they had. And people were fired on site because of not conforming to quality. That kind of actions also they used to take because because the reputation will be badly damaged if you don't follow and if you are caught, you are not following a quality system. And I'm not saying that all companies, like a company called Atkins, they are not QAQC or ISO certified company, but their quality procedures are much better than the QAQC procedure, the ISO system. Like, see, IATA. IATA is International Air Travel Association specifications and control. And Singapore Airlines is not part of it. They have their own QAQC or maybe a system which is much better. You travel in Singapore Airlines and travel in any other airline, you feel the difference. It's not necessary that you have to be a IATA certified airline like Atkin. What I mean to see those who have the willingness or maybe the necessity, but if you go to UK or Europe or here, if you are not following a system, you are out of the place, you're gone.
This can be afforded when the company is having a revenue. If it's a small scale company,
How much revenue we need to implement the quality?
let me put a point, because
Don't tell me that if you can ban, if you want to identify 10 stickers, you put it on the wall of your construction site, how much money you need? You need $1 million. It won't even cost you 500 rupees or less than that, a board and some piece of paper, you mark it handwritten. So this is what basically it is. We are not talking about sophistication here. We are not talking about practice so that it will contribute to add value to your process. And you have less mistakes. Errors are eliminated. People are practicing Six Sigma. It is the basic thing is to eliminate errors. Six Sigma. And Lean is eliminate waste. Like that, these tools are very helpful, and these people try to pack many things. Many times I have found people don't implement it because they don't know about it. The ignorance is another factor here, because they never learned or never seen a site or a company which practices things.
Well,
these things are not new. These are existing for maybe for the last 10 years, but it didn't come to India yet.
only thing is we have to start practicing it. Mr. Rajendran, your take on it.
It's our fault that we didn't bring it to the field. Yes.
Rajendran, you want to say something?
Yeah, whatever Mr. Varghese was telling, all these are being practiced within India. I have known companies like GE. When you go to Bangalore, GE, Jackwell Welch Center for Technology, they have their own construction manager, the construction manual. In that QA/QC manual, whatever he was teaching today is all there in different languages, in different stages, or at least as a policy or as a goal towards where they are working at. In Johnson India, they have their own construction manual. It is 150 years they spent in developing that manual. I have seen it. It is being practiced in India. If you take the government organization, Indian Railways is almost there, but they are not mentioning in as much words as Mr. Varghese mentioned. So some kind of quality they are always maintaining, and they are improving also continuously. So the quality, we are limiting the concept of quality with one slum test and one cube test at site.
True.
It is not that quality. If you take a manufacturing plant, before a car is coming out into the market, it goes into several stages of prototyping, checking, crash testing, this testing, quality models, quality test, quality control, and then only it goes into production line. Still goes for quality improvement. But construction does not have that kind of luxury. We have to build it perfectly the first time itself. We don't have the prototyping and we don't make it continuous improvement like that. So you understand that even much more than a production facility, the construction should have much more stringent quality standards and more commitment from the management and contractor. We in our company, we give higher rating to contractors who have their safety and quality department. They are directly reporting to the managing director, not reporting to the project execution team and project manager.
Yeah, that is in every organization, the quality department reports to the CEO or maybe the top management, because nobody should get an interference, give an interference to them, or maybe dilute the action required to be taken.
It calls for highest level of management commitment and executive commitment. We in India, we get sometimes diluted in the name of economics and cost cutting.
No,
it is up to us. We are to be blamed. Mr. Varghese was asking a right question. Whom to be blamed? We are to be blamed, because that is why, how to improve it, that is why we are organizing this kind of program. We are talking to young engineers and students. And today they are young engineers and may be unemployed or looking for jobs at junior level. And tomorrow these people will grow into their professional line, and where they, being an executive, they have to convince the management to buy in that kind of commitment in future, so that these things will be widespread in practice.
You see, we are actually having examples right in front of them. Look at the bridge. See, around 50 crores is wasted because of that. I never heard in my life anywhere that construction of such a very important, infrastructure facility has been because of quality issues right from design, because people are not even doing quality check or quality audit of designs, starting from design assumptions. This needs to be done. So who is actually paying through our nose all this false ignorance and other things? The public is paying. We're losing money, resources, and because of somebody's mistake.
20 years before, we didn't have the cryogenic technology with us. And today we are launching rocket, and our space mission is, if you convert into per kilometer, it is cheaper than Ola cab charge in India. So do you think that we cannot build one Palariottam bridge? It is all in our minds.
I don't say the designing a bridge and implementing is not a rocket science. Since more than 100 years, we are building bridges. Not today or yesterday we are designing and building bridges. So it's a sheer responsibility, or maybe an ignorance, or maybe accountability, because you can do anything you like. Nobody.
That's the word for it, actually. Accountability.
Accountability is
the word
should be
for
there.
Yes.
That is why you hear, if you now I asked my company, I'm going to do a quality audit for the quality department. So the quality department, I'm going to do an audit, how they are doing. So I wanted to see all the check sheets and what do you call it, inspection sheets ready and correct. When they asked them, it is there. They said, I said, show me. And then last month, the internal QC has actually issued 2 NCRs on some work. And the client QC inspector came and he issued 4 NCRs. I mean, 4 non-conformity. I said, lucky that I am not firing you, or maybe it is I'm not the CEO to fire. This should be the other way. Internally, you should have put more stringent evaluation, and then so that your client will come with a less number, not the other way around. Means I told him, you are not doing your job properly. That is why it is like that. And you are giving a false information to the management that you are doing correct, which is not true. So it costs money and time and other things. Reputation, that is another big thing.
True.
So,
well, anybody else? I think it's time for us to wind up. Before winding up, anybody else have any question? Quick questions.
Okay,
Janani has something to say. Actually, she has. Give me a moment. Actually, she has typed something. You know, due to lack of time, I think it is better you ask, Janani. I'll come back to you, Radhi sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are audible. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is related to like how can we implement this continuous and rapid improvement strategies? Like generally these TQM tools and everything, I have seen implementing them during and before construction. But how can we implement these tools in structural aspects? Like when it comes to retrofitting rehabilitation, say for example, treating corrosion and cracks. How can we implement these things and ensure like the stability?
All right. Before going to the answer, actually, let us get the question from Radhi sir also, so that we can answer both in one stretch.
Yeah.
That would be very.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Right.
See, I was just going through all these discussion, and I was just thinking, okay, will all these performance-based contracts and all those things will be helping to bring in all these aspects of quality and the efficiency, all those things into the contract system. This is to Varghese sir to answer. Internationally, probably the FDIC contracts and all those things are prompting people to go for all these quality and efficiency measures, wherein we are not into FDIC in a larger way. So all those things may be helping. I would like to hear your comments on this.
Yeah, first let me answer that question, because this continuous and continual and rapid improvements are very small improvements. It may not be very significant in the whole thing. Like may not be, sometimes it is visible. So like if you are doing a process or maybe a construction at site, like implementing certain like system, what I said, Kanban, you are putting a board and then you are putting this. These are the kind of improvement what I am talking. This will directly or indirectly help to improve your efficiency. And you are giving some transparency there. People, otherwise, the guy who's come and somebody came to the site and they want some materials or something, you are then you see that your storekeeper is on leave, and I mean, things can go wrong and you delay it. So avoid this kind of eventualities by doing a system. See, like 5S, that is a system for cleaning and keeping neat, and if you enter an office, you are not wasting your time searching for a document. So things of this kind of small improvements. See, like you are doing concreting, and there also you can do, see how you are putting your RMC, how you, these people will do little bit of arrangement so that it will be better, efficiently they can improve the situation. They can pour maybe 10 cubic meter in 1 hour, maybe they can improve situation, maybe 15 cubic meter. There are so many small things, but the point is we don't document these things. Whatever we do, we feel that should be documented, that we know that this guy has done, improved it, and you have a documentation available for a week, concreting that one day it is done 10, another day it is 12, and what are the factors helped him to improve it. So this is the kind of improvement, this continual. And you remember, in a year, you have actually grown continuously for a long, many things. Your KP, because your key performance indicators, your performance of your company will improve. People are always, because as I said, the innovative and creative. Many things will come from people. They make a different template and so suitable for that place. So you make a ladder. I mean, small things. It's not big or heavy things, like comes instantly to that creative person, that you give the opportunity to people and say that this is how it is. Do you think, how many engineers ask this question to a supervisor or a worker? Do you think that it is okay or not? Taking them into confidence. You don't ask. You say go and vote. Am I right?
Exactly.
So this is not this is not the way things can improve. And this guy who is instructing, he never even had seen a site. How difficult the concrete pouring, he never even have seen it.
Exactly.
So this is the point, basically, because there was a recommendation earlier that all the engineering degree stream should have a 1 year internship.
Yeah.
True.
1 year internship, so that they see exactly what is actually happened. This is not like what you are seeing on the paper. See, if you go to UK, the engineering is only 3 years and plus 1 year internship. And that's why I have few UK people graduated. The point in Singapore also, because I can straight away assign them for an assignment. I can give an assignment, they will do it. But our guys still looking at the philosophy in the book, which is never been applied in the practice. And we don't have manuals also, because what I've seen in steel design or concrete design or anything, we don't have manuals like what we have in Europe or in US. They're not textbooks. You cannot use it for designing. You have to have design manuals. Like in USA, BCSA, British Steel Construction, they will describe how to design things, not the textbook gives you only the philosophy, basic things. It doesn't work in the practice. So nobody has so far put an attempt to develop. Even when I was working with Geo, the concrete design manual was Charles UK manual. They were, because UK code is, the Indian code is a ditto photocopy of the BS code. Even the statement written in the Indian code is similar to what is the UK code is, the BS code. Even the writing, we don't invent anything. We just reduce the permissible limits a little bit less, because we don't trust our material.
Yeah.
We don't trust our material, what we produce, so that we reduce it 10-20% less, so that our factor of ignorance increases. So this is how it is. And the second question, I was actually talking about It is regarding implementation, am I right? Sorry, I just lost
Janani,
your question.
The quality in FIDIC contracts is
Yeah,
not possible
quality.
in India.
Yeah, here, because here all the contracts are made in accordance with FIDIC. Because if you go to any dispute system, FIDIC is actually the governing kind of document. You don't have otherwise this thing, because FIDIC is actually the consultant organization has come up with practical, incorporating the practical reasons of implementing a project, how it should be, how could it be. So that's why a guideline, FIDIC is actually the governing thing. And then, I don't know, many companies like we call KMRL and other companies, they used to follow FIDIC. KMRL as well as smart city projects and all, they are like international. But the implementation, what I have seen, I used to attend meetings, but it is very poor, believe me. When it comes to the documentation, it is everything there. When it comes to implementation, they are back to the same Indian style. So that is where the problem. I used to commend them. Why you have making us to prepare a lot of documents, and nobody is seeing it also. Not even flipping the pages of the document submitted. That is the kind of thing, because the quality, how much benefit you are gaining out of practicing benefit, and this is difficult to measure it. All these philosophies, what we implemented, what is the gain? Like when I say structural engineer, strength, stability, and serviceability, these are the paramount when you design a structure. So how you measure it? What is the life of a structure? How long it can stand by your design concept? Because you don't have an equation calculating the age of the structure. You only do it according to the practice, good practices and good control of codes and standard conformity. So you know that it is going to stay for some time. And even if all this kind of control we are doing, can you show me a structure is not giving distress in 50 years, the recent structures for 30, 40, and you can see structures built 200 years ago by Britishers is still standing.
Thank you, sir. Shall we call it a day? It's already 9:45. Well, thank you so much, Varghese sir, Mr. Rajendran, Mr. Radish, Janani, Virupakshiya, Runali, Tibu, Arunlal, Dr. Prakash, Andrea, Sheshagiri, Anakha KJ, all of you for being, there till the end. Always I used to say that the towards the end is, much interesting, and usually, it goes beyond this time also actually. So please keep following us. Every week Wednesdays we are having the same sort of lectures actually, and there are other things also coming up. I'll keep you posted on this. Thank you, Varghese sir, for this enlightening session. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, and good night to all.
Thank you. Good night.